Welcome back. In today's lecture, I am going to talk about one of very important principle that is called comparison principle. Okay, and if you see the theme of this principle, then this is again give one of the way such that by if I have to solve some kind of higher dimensional nonlinear differential equation, it is possible to show that mapping higher dimensional nonlinear differential equation to one dimension, I can able to calculate the bond of solution of the higher dimensional nonlinear differential equation. That is the more basic idea, that if you have n dimensional nonlinear differential equation, and most of time it is very difficult to solve nonlinear differential equation. Sometime even if you have first order differential nonlinear differential equation, then also it is difficult to solve it. So what is alternative way? We are going to define some kind of mapping such that I can again move from n dimensional space to one dimension, and after that in one dimension we are going to formulate some kind of inequality such that I am able to understand the bond of the solution of the original nonlinear differential equation. So please be careful, I am just talking about bond of the solution. I am not going to calculate absolute value of the solution of nonlinear differential equation. Okay, so what happens, suppose I have some kind of physical system, I have done mathematical model, and after doing the mathematical model I have some nonlinear differential equation, and now we are going to understand that how solution is going to vary, means what is maximum value of solution, what is minimum value of solution. So for that first step, what we are going to do, we are going to map that n dimensional or nth order nonlinear differential equation to equivalent first order differential equation, and most of time I know that how to solve first order differential equation. So by solving first order differential equation, now I will tell that physical quantity is going to lie in this particular range. So that is the main motivation of the today's lecture. And why this is very important, I have already told you when I have discussed about the Banach space, that we are defining norm inside that. Okay, norm is nothing but some kind of notion, that is generalization of distance. Okay, so if we have to compare something, at that time we are defining some kind of quantity like distance, and based on the distance we are going to talk about lot of things. Similarly, whenever I have physical system, then we are again going to define energy, or energy is a scalar quantity, and based on energy it is possible to show that I can also not only able to talk about stability but also able to find the bond of the solution. Okay, so during Lyapunov stability, which I am going to talk in the next part of this this course, so in that part I am going to use this principle. So please carefully listen the today's lecture, because this is very important to understand the next part of this course. So what basically comparison lemma is telling, main motivation of this lemma to compare the solution of differential inequality. You can see here that I have some kind of sign that is less than equal to ftx. Okay, so this is not a differential equation, this is some kind of differential inequality, and obviously whenever you have this kind of sign, so I am assuming this belongs to just a real line. Okay, after that I do not have the so many way to solve this kind of inequality. So how basically we are solving this, we are defining some kind of equivalent differential equation, and equivalent differential equation of this, what I am going to do, in place of v I am going to substitute one quantity u, and at that time, and I am maintaining that function, just I am going to change this v by u, and this is the equivalent differential equation of this differential inequality, and again u belongs to r. Okay, and what we are going to establish that if you are going to solve the below equation, means if you are going to solve this equation, then you are able to understand that what is the bond of the solution of this equation. That is the main motivation. Okay, so whenever you have some kind of differential inequality, whenever you are going to solve some problem, at that time what you have to do, you have to convert that differential inequality into some kind of equivalent differential equation. Okay, and using the result of comparison lemma, it is possible to show that I can able to know the bond of the solution of the original equation. Okay, there exists some kind of literature which is also talking about the vector generalization of this, but I am not going to talk that in today's lecture. Okay, so what basically comparison lemma, whenever we are going to apply, it is also possible to show that even if this v is not differentiable. What is meaning of differentiability? That whenever we are going to calculate the derivative of something, then we are telling that left hand derivative, right hand derivative and derivative at some point all are equal. Then only we are telling that function is differentiable at that point. But it is possible to show that if we are just worrying about the upper right hand derivative d plus, I am going to define upper right, what is meaning of this symbol d plus vt. For time being, you can just try to understand like this, that suppose I have to differentiate this function here, then we are going to check the left hand derivative, right hand derivative and derivative at this point. And if all are equal, then only we are going to tell that there at this point derivative is going to exist. And in one dimensional case, you have already seen that suppose that I have function like this, then we are telling that whatever slope, if you see slope from here and slope at this point, then all are equal. Okay, so similar kind of things here we are telling. So this comparison lemma, since we are going to map from, I have already told you that I am going to map from higher dimensional space to one dimension, and in one dimension again if some quantity comes into picture, at that time I have to take the derivative of this quantity to establish the relation between r and 2r. At that time, in this lower dimensional space, it is possible to show that even if you define some kind of function which is not differentiable, not completely differentiable, but only they have upper right hand derivative, we will see using one example also in today's lecture, then also I can apply the comparison lemma, because comparison lemma is applicable in one dimension. So what we have to do, whenever I have to apply comparison lemma to higher dimensional system, first step I have mapped from Rn to R, and after that in this particular space, what we have to do, when we are in this particular space, at that time I am going to define some kind of function, and if that function is differentiable, then I can able to come up with some differential inequality. Okay, and using that differential inequality, I can able to calculate the bond of the solution in the original differential equation. Okay, but assumption is further relaxed. It is not worry about the left hand derivative, right hand derivative or derivative at this point. You can just calculate the upper right hand derivative, and in order to define the upper hand derivative, we need the concept of this limit supremum. In previous class I have already told you that what is meaning of limit supremum. So actually what happens, if you see carefully in higher dimensional space, then basically whenever we are talking about the limit, at that time we have some kind of sequence. Okay, and we are telling that okay, that if I have some kind of sequence xn, so that is going to converge to x star, provided this n is greater than some number, and then this is less than some kind of epsilon. It means that if this is the accumulation point, then I am going to try to achieve this accumulation point from left side and right side. Then I have limit here. Similar kind of way we are defining continuity, that suppose that if function is continuous here, then I am going to create some kind of ball here, and after that I am going to give certain kind of guarantee such that I remains bonded, locally bonded, because I am going to talk the continuity here. And now whenever we are going to talk about derivative, then basically you might have seen that whenever I am calculating the derivative, at that time we are seeing the two sequence, and after that we are going to see VTH minus VT by H, and at that particular point what we are going to do, we are going to make some limit H tending towards 0, means we are going to approach this point. Okay, and so basically I have one sequence from this side and one sequence from this side, and in order to talk about the differentiability, we are always talking about the continuity. If something is not continuous, then that is not differentiable. So when something is continuous, it means that something is bonded, and when I have bonded sequence, then we have already seen that I can able to talk about limit supremum and limit infimum, and due to that reason same kind of principle people are going to use here. So I hope that you are able to understand the motivation behind this definition. Okay, anyone has confusion on this, how basically limit, continuity and differentiability, and after that limit supremum and limit infimum is related to each other? Are you able to see? I hope that you are also able to picturize that for differentiability why continuity is needed, because if that is not continuity is somehow talking about local bondedness. It means that if x0 is here, then I have xn kind of sequence, and here I have yn kind of sequence. So both sequence, if x0 is some kind of limit, then that is going to tend towards this direction, and this is going to tend towards this direction. And after that, using limit supremum, if limit supremum equal to limit infimum, then I am going to tell that here I have some kind of accumulation point. Okay, so similar kind of things we are going to write here. Anyone has confusion? Okay, so if you don't have confusion, then now what is our purpose? So for our purpose, I just need these two property of the previous whatever I have defined, the upper derivative, upper right hand derivative, and upper right hand why people are using 0 plus, they have writing, due to that reason this name upper right hand that comes into picture. Now here you can see that Vt is differentiable at t, then it is possible to show that upper right hand derivative equal to v dot t, and that is obvious because whenever we are talking about differentiability, then we are talking about upper right hand derivative, left hand the right hand derivative, and derivative at that point. Okay, after that one more important point, you try to see that if suppose that this condition holds. Okay, so what I am going to do now, here I am going to see the right hand derivative, and right hand derivative if that is bounded by some function gth in some interval, and if limit of this equal to g0. Okay, it means that if I apply limit h tending towards 0, and suppose that if I do not talk about, for time being I am not going to talk about supremum here, then it is possible to show that since there exists a limit and 1 by h, so finally this quantity, if I will take the supremum, then that is going to tend less than equal to that quantity g0. Okay, anyone has confusion on this, why this relation comes into picture? Anyone? So try to see, if you have confusion, then that is obvious from definition only. So in this definition, you try to see that if I have VTH minus V by H, so we are in some kind of higher dimensional space, or you can just talk about one dimension, that is also fine, that is not a problem. Now what I am going to do, suppose I do not worry about this quantity limit supremum or this. Okay, if this VTH minus VT is bounded by some function GTH, and GTH is also has some limit. Okay, so I have two different kind of sequence. Here you can see that I have one sequence which is defined like that, and after that I have some other sequence. Why I am telling sequence? Because t is also varying. So due to that reason I am telling that sorry, h is also varying, because h is going to tend towards 0, so h is basically going to vary here. So this is again generating sequence. So I have one sequence here, and after that here I have another sequence. Okay, as h tending towards 0, then some sequence distance between these two are going to decrease. So that is bounded by this. Okay, and this sequence has a limit. So maximum value of this, that is always going to, and this is true for all h between 0 to b. So due to that reason, means whatever accumulation point of this, okay, or whatever supremum, limit supremum of this, that should be less than this, and due to that reason this kind of relation comes into picture. So due to property of limit supremum, I can able to write this kind of quantity, and we are going to take help of this quantity during the proof of the comparison theorem, okay, or comparison principle. Now before going to the main proof or going to a statement of the comparison principle, we are going to recall one theorem, okay. And in previous class I have already discussed about this theorem. Again I am not going to add the proof of this theorem. So theorem basically tells us that how basically solution is affected by the initial state and the parameter. Okay, so during sensitivity analysis we have already seen that if parameter is going to vary by a small amount, then I can tell that solution is also not going to vary much more. Okay, so this theorem is going to quantify that kind of things. So what basically we are telling, suppose I have again some kind of nonlinear differential equation ftx and lambda. So this is my nonlinear state equation, and suppose the vector field be continuous in tx and lambda, okay. Or I have already told you that whenever we are dealing this kind of differential equation, then we are assuming that vector field means right hand side of this this matrix differential equation. Why matrix? Because, or vector differential equation, because x is x1, x2, x3 up to xn. So this vector differential equation, that is continuous or piecewise continuous in t, but locally Lipschitz in x, and you can tell that in terms of lambda also, or you can tell that locally Lipschitz x uniformly and t and lambda. It means that whatever Lipschitz constant that comes into picture, that is independent of t and lambda, obviously that is independent of x. So for all t and lambda, that Lipschitz condition is going to satisfy. So that is continuous. So continuous in all argument, because in order to do sensitivity analysis we have already seen that that should be continuous in x and lambda. Due to that reason this assumption is required, and after that in order to talk about the existence and uniqueness of solution, I need the local Lipschitzness in terms of x but uniformly in t. It means that whatever Lipschitz condition or Lipschitz constant that comes into picture, that is going to vary for all t and lambda, and I have defined time interval between these two. This is my space d, and whatever parameter variation I am going to consider, means parameter I am telling that is not going to vary much, where d Rn is a open connected set. So I have already defined what is meaning of open, what is meaning of connected set, and after that suppose y t lambda 0 be a solution of this equation. So whenever we are doing some kind of mathematical model, at that time I have already told you that I have certain kind of parameter, and that parameter I am telling lambda 0. So based on that parameter I am going to find the solution, and we know why solution is unique, because I have already assumed that vector field of this particular equation, that is continuous in tx and lambda is constant here. So after that lambda 0 doesn't comes into picture, so that is continuous in t and x, and after that locally Lipschitz in x. Due to that reason I have unique solution locally, at least locally I have unique solution. Okay, up to here anyone has confusion, then please let me know. Now what we are telling, that suppose y t lambda d 0 is defined and belongs to d, means I have some kind of a space, and I am telling that the solution of the nominal equation means when parameter is constant, then that solution is going to lie in this interval. For all t between t0 and t1. Then I can further generalize that for given epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta such that if I have some another solution z0, and how basically z0 is generated I will tell you now, and after that y0 is the initial condition of the nominal equation, and z0 is initial condition of the perturb equation. Perturb equation means whenever parameter is going to vary. So if that is lie in less than delta and parameter is also going to less than delta, so both thing, initial condition of both perturb equation as well as or nominal equation or perturb equation, if both are inside the ball, so there is no need to take same initial condition. You can take two different initial condition. Just you have to make sure that that is going to lie inside the ball. Then we can tell that there exists a unique solution. Again, unique solution is zt lambda, that is obviously not equal to yt lambda 0. There always exists some kind of difference. So that solution is going to lie inside the another ball epsilon. Okay, so somehow I have track of the solution. Okay, at least I can tell that how much solution is going to deviate if some parameter is going to change. So if you try to understand like this, suppose if you have this kind of system and inside this system I have some kind of parameter. Okay, so during mathematical modeling, suppose that if I am not able to estimate exact parameter, I am just able to estimate the lambda 0 nominal parameter, and if you will give some kind of initial condition, and that initial condition is y0, then and at that time suppose this is lambda 0, then you have some kind of solution that is yt lambda 0. Now in the same system, suppose this lambda 0 is changed to lambda, and if you give z0, at that time your solution is zt into lambda, because here no parameter is going to change by lambda. So if these two quantity initial condition, so if these two initial condition is going to lie inside some ball, and ball has delta radius, so you can take initial condition of this is here, this is here, then whatever final trajectory that is going to evolve from here, that is going to lie inside this ball. So it might possible this solution is going to lie here, and this solution is going to lie here, or this solution is going to lie above of this, but that is always going to lie inside this epsilon ball. So, and what is assumption? Assumption is very simple, that vector field should be piecewise continuous or continuous in t, x, and parameter variation. Why parameter variation? Sometimes parameter variation is function of x as well as t. Okay, due to that reason, that kind of assumption people are taking. So if parameter is not going to vary much, then solution is also not going to vary much. That is the meaning of the dependence of initial condition and solution. So if initial condition, whatever initial condition you are expecting, why this kind of theory is required? Suppose that if you want to enter the initial condition inside your computer z0, then basically exactly z0 is not entered due to some kind of digital equivalence. So always there exists some kind of mismatch. So due to that mismatch, how basically solution is affected, that also one can quantify using this kind of theorem. So due to that reason, this theorem is one of the important theorem in the control literature. Now let us come to the comparison lemma. So in order to deal with comparison lemma, obviously I am going to use the previous result for the proof. So I have some kind of a scalar differential equation. A scalar differential equation means u belongs to R, that I am going to consider, and I have initial condition. Again, what I am going to assume? I am going to assume that this function f is piecewise continuous or continuous, you can tell, and locally Lipschitz in u for all t greater than equal to 0, and all u that basically is j is somehow the subset of real number. So j is interval. So what I am telling that this particular function ftu is locally Lipschitz in u for all t, and u is also depending on time. So if ut is also, if u is also depending on time, and even if you can check take the step change of u, then also solution is going to exist. That kind of condition I am basically assuming. So, and maximal interval of existence of solution, it means that we are just varying solution between t0 to t, and it is possible to show that one can extend this t to infinity also. Okay, so if you just able to solve this equation between t0 to t, it is possible to show that if t is tending towards infinity, then solution can be, or ut can be extended to infinity also. Now let v is continuous function whose upper right hand derivative satisfy this kind of differential inequality. So this kind of differential inequality, if that will satisfy. So you can see that what I have done, I have started with some kind of system, and that system is actually u dot equal to ftx. So I have some kind of scalar differential equation. So this is equation. Now in place of u, I am going to change by v. Okay, so here v dot, and here now since one dimension, so I can able to compare, convert this into some kind of differential inequality ft and v. And after that, what I have to just do, I have to since this is differential inequality, so in order to evolve, in order to show that what is future response of Vt, I need some kind of initial condition in terms of V. And if you maintain initial condition, you can see here that what kind of restriction I have keep here, that whatever initial condition of Vt, that should be less than u0. Okay, so I have differential equation, and I know that what is heuristic behavior of this differential equation. So I am going to again represent in terms of ball. So I have something like some system. So and after that, here u dot equal to ftx is going to lie. I have given u0, and corresponding xt ut is going to generate. Now what I am going to do, I am going to replace this Vt by f, same vector field. You can see that vector field remains the same, tv. Now I have to give initial condition, that is v0. So now how basically we are going to select the initial condition. I am going to select the initial condition of v0, that is less than u0. Then it is possible to show that whatever future trajectory is going to generate, that is less than this, provided this quantity v and derivative whatever I have taken here, that is upper or right hand derivative, or whatever derivative I have defined in terms of the limit supremum, that kind of derivative. If that is differentiable, then it is exactly equal to classical derivative. So now what basically we are telling, you can, if you have to solve some differential inequality, then you can convert that differential inequality, because I have to maintain this function same like here, and just you can change the variable, and whatever, if initial condition of v0 is here, then you can just take some higher initial condition. Then it is possible to show that whatever solution of this differential inequality, that is less than this solution, and this is nothing but some kind of comparison system. Anyone has confusion on this? How basically we are telling, and vice versa, that is also true. What you can do, first you can take differential equation, and then you can generate the comparison system using some kind of differential inequality, and after that what you are able to see that solution of the original equation, that is always greater than this comparison system. So that is the reverse result. Okay, and this is true between t0 to t, but I have already told you that one can extend this t to infinity also. So let us try to see the proof quickly. So a step of proof I am going to discuss just. So you can see here, suppose I have some kind of equation like z dot equal to ft plus z. Okay, now what I am going to do, I am going to consider some kind of more general differential equation where I am going to add lambda here. So basically if you see things, suppose I have this kind of equation. Now what we are telling, there exists a lambda such that this equation is converted into equivalent. This differential inequality is converted into differential equation for some kind of value lambda. Suppose that kind of things exist. Okay, then now you can see that I am not able to solve differential inequality because there is no way to solve differential inequality as per my knowledge, and due to that reason what basically we are doing, but we know that how to solve differential equation. So we are converting differential inequality into differential equation. So this is our differential equation. Now what I am going to do, I am going to solve this, and after that I am going to take some result or going to generalize some result for this system, and due to that reason I have written this kind of thing. So anyone has confusion, then please let me know. And you can see here that initial condition here I have maintained exactly like the u0. So our initial equation u0 is f t u and ut0 equal to u0. So I have converted that u by z, and after that I have added some extra constant positive parameter lambda, and after that I am maintaining the same initial condition. So if you see these two equations, so these two equations I can tell that everything remains the same, just parameter, and if lambda is very small, then whatever solution of u and z, that is going to remain the very close. We have just formulate that kind of means distance between two solution using the dependency of initial condition and initial parameter, just using some kind of theorem. Just we have stated that theorem. So I am going to take the help of that theorem. So what basically we are telling that from the continuity of solution in terms of initial condition and parameter, we conclude that in any compact interval, so if we have interval from t0 to t1, so for every epsilon there exists a delta such that if this parameter is less than delta. Why this we are telling? Because lambda is I have in this equation, when I have converted this inequality, so I have first I have some kind of differential equation like this, and after that what I am going to do, I am going to first make some kind of equivalent differential inequality, but I do not know how to solve it. Due to that reason I have converted into differential equation, and what I am telling now that this and this is exactly same if lambda equal to 0. So if lambda is very small, then I cannot able to distinguish solution between u and z, because initial condition of both is exactly equal. Right hand vector field of these two equation is exactly equal, just variation of parameter is here. So if parameter variation is very small, it means that lambda is parameter here no parameter, so 0, and if distance between this is less than delta, then I can tell that I can further tell that if I have something like epsilon that is greater than 0, so for that there exists a delta, and since initial condition is exactly equal, so I am not telling that, because whenever we are talking about continuity in terms of initial condition and parameter, at that time what we found that I am talking about z0 and y0, that should be less than delta, lambda minus lambda 0, that should be less than delta. So for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a delta such that z minus yt, zt minus yt, that is less than epsilon. So same kind of result I am going to use here. So here you can see that due to that reason I have selected lambda less than delta, then I can able to talk like this. So this result is important to prove that if I replace differential equation by differential inequality, and if the initial condition, whatever initial condition of differential inequality that is less than the initial condition of differential equation, then what happens that whatever solution of differential inequality that is always bounded by the solution of differential equation. Okay, so if the vector field of both differential equation and differential inequality is the same, so what I am going to do now, first I have established this kind of result with the help of the theorem and what is basic goal of theorem? To talk about the continuity of solution in terms of initial condition and parameter. So up to here anyone has confusion, then please let me know. Anyone? Now what I am going to prove, I am going to prove that Vt is less than equal to Z t lambda. So basically first try to understand that what is Vt. So here three different equations are involved. Okay, so what different three different equations are involved? One differential, initially I have first one differential equation. Now I want to solve this differential equation, but suppose this function is very complicated, I am not able to solve this. Due to that reason, what I have done, I have replaced this by differential inequality. So I have differential inequality in terms of Vt, and after that what I am telling that there exists some kind of z differential equation in terms of z, where vector field of original differential equation and this converted differential equation, that is just separated by some small parameter or a small amount, that is lambda, some positive value of lambda, but you can also take without loss of generality lambda equal to negative. Okay, now what I am going to do, I am going to show that Vt is less than equal to zt lambda. So one of the method of proof, that is called proof by contradiction. So how basically we are proving by contradiction? First we are telling that, okay, suppose this condition is violated. Okay, because in mathematics I have just two things, either things is true or false. There is no intermediate thing. Due to that reason, if you are contradict, first you can assume that something is wrong and generate some kind of contradiction by logical argument. Then what happens, that if you are assuming something is false, then that become true, because we have just two alternate. Okay, so what you can do, if you have to prove something, then you can first assume that, suppose I have to establish this inequality, I am going to tell that this inequality is not going to hold, and after that I will check the condition. Okay, and if that condition is contradictory, then obviously that inequality is true. In that way we are proving. So that is called proof by contradiction. I have already repeated several times, there are 5 different methods of proof. So slowly you have to learn that. Okay, now let us come to this result. If it were not true, then that would be some time interval, because I am just worrying about t0 to t1. So due to that reason I am worrying about this time, such that since I am only between this interval, so somewhere at when I have started something, then at that time Va equal to Za lambda, and for all t between t0 to t1 this relation should be satisfied, because I am telling that this inequality is incorrect. Due to that reason means correct inequality is this. In this way we have proceed, and now I am going to generate some kind of contradiction. So now what I am going to do, I am going to see the distance between these two, Vt minus Va and Zta minus Zat. Now what I am going to do, I am going to divide both side by h, and after that dividing here I am going to divide by h, and here also I am going to divide by h, or you can tell that since t and a and t is actually always varying, so somehow I have some accumulation point like a. Due to that reason I am going to do Vt plus h and minus here Vt, and t is nothing but you can assume a, and after that I am going to do limit h tending towards 0, and since this is sequence, so I am going to talk about supremum of this. So finally, and if you are just going to see by right hand derivative, then basically this is converted like this. Okay, and inequality sign remains the same, because this is also we are expressing every things in terms of the sequence only. So basically here also similar kind of things comes 1 by h, and limit supremum also here. Due to that reason differentiability comes into picture here, and we know that z dot a plus lambda is we have just defined like this. And now if this is the case, I can further write, because lambda I have taken positive, so I can write that d plus va is greater than fa v. But if you see that inequality in terms of v, so I have inequality like this. So due to that reason this is the contradiction. So I have contradiction. So by this contradiction now I can able to establish that, okay, that this Vt, whatever solution of Vt is nothing but the solution of differential inequality, that is always lesser than the Zt lambda. And what is basically Zt lambda? Zt lambda is the solution of differential equation, and I have introduced some extra parameter lambda inside the differential equation. Initially I have differential equation like this, ft lambda and ut0 equal to u0, and what I have done that here inside this I have introduced some parameter lambda, then this is converted into z dot t. So due to that reason I am telling I have established this. Now with help of this I am going to establish something more, and that is our main result, that is claim 2, that I have to establish that Vt is less than equal to ut for all t that lie between t0 to t1. Okay, so this I have to establish. So with help of the above result, above claim number 1, I am going to establish that whatever solution of the differential inequality, that is always less than the solution of differential equation. So that I am going to show. Again I am going to show by contradiction. So because proof by contradiction is pretty easy, just you have to generate some kind of argument which is going to contradict. Okay, so what I am going to assume, that if that is going to contradict somewhere, then I have this inequality is going to violate it somewhere, at least at one point, and at that point I have this kind of relation. Okay, now what I am going to do, that I am going to select epsilon, and epsilon now I can select anything, VA minus UA, that is by 2 I am going to select, because for every epsilon we are telling whenever we are seeing the continuity with respect to parameter variation. Then and after that I am going to, we see that we know that because I have this kind of differential equation, several times I am writing, just due to if you will see differential equation carefully, then you are able to understand the basic idea of the proof lambda. So you can see that I have these two equations, initial condition is exactly equal, and after that if you see the solution of this ut or zt, so if that is separated by epsilon, so it is possible to show that if lambda is very small, then their futuristic value, solution of this in terms of parameter and solution of this that is separated by less than epsilon for all t lie between t0 to t1. So this is continuity of solution with respect to parameter and initial condition. And now you try to see here that if I see the distance between VA and ZA lambda, then what happens, that I can further write that VA I am going to, what I am going to do, that in this particular equation I am going to add something more. So I have, suppose if I have VA minus ZA here, then what I am going to do, I am going to add VA minus UA, and one argument is missing here, I am going to add plus UA here. Okay, now if you see that relation between these two, so these two is always less than epsilon, but whatever VA minus UA I have considered, that is 2 epsilon. So this is always greater than epsilon, but just in statement 1 what I have proved, that I have proved this Vt is always less than Zt, and here by adjusting epsilon it is possible to show that V is the greater than the Za. Due to that reason again contradiction is there, and due to that reason we are telling that for all t, whatever solution of Vt, so Vt is solution of differential inequality, that is always less than the differential equation. So in this way we are established the proof between t0 to t1, but further I have to establish this proof for all t whenever capital T is tending towards infinity. Okay, so for all time this inequality is satisfied, we have to prove that. So since this is true for every compact interval, so you can replace all argument to any compact interval, any time interval you can take, and it is possible to show that if this inequality is violated at some time that is less than infinity, then only this solution cannot extend to infinity. So in that way people are proving, but first they established the result between t0 to t, and after that they are telling that if we are going to extend the t to infinity, then what kind of things comes into picture. So, and one more important thing is that we know that Vt is continuous. Okay, so from continuity, if that is going to violate at this time, then Vt equal to ut, and after that since something is continuous, so I can always add some quantity, because continuity is telling that I can able to make prediction of future. Okay, continuity somehow implies the boundedness. So if solution I know from t0 to t, and if something is continuous, then I can extend that that argument to t plus delta also, because continuity itself implies that if I know something at t, then I can also know that something at t plus delta is remains bounded. Due to that reason, I know the information about t plus delta also. But if I have loss of continuity, then I cannot tell this. So somehow, if something is continuous, I can able to make prediction, and due to that reason, I cannot restrict just ourselves t0 to t. So again, this is some kind of contradiction, and due to that reason, I can tell that I can extend the solution to any limit. Okay, so let us again come to the conclusion, what I have what we have proved in this theorem. So in this theorem, I have to prove that if I have some kind of equation, so I will again discuss the steps of proof, then things become little more clear to you. So what basically we are telling, I have some system, and I know that this system has initial condition u0 and differential equation. Using this differential equation, this system is going to evolve, and I know the ut. But I do not know how to solve this equation, because this equation is very, very complicated. Due to that reason, what I am going to do, I am going to run another program, and where now I have something like v dot less than ft vt, something like this, and here initial condition of v0 I have taken, and I have generated vt. So if vector field of this and this remains the same, and if this v0 that is less than equal to u0, it is possible to show that by comparison lemma that ut always less than equal to vt. So that kind of result we have. So how basically we have proved? We have generated some intermediate system, and with that intermediate system, so I have generated some kind of intermediate system here in terms of z, and z is again same vector field with some kind of parameter, and after that we have shown that whatever solution of this, initially I have solved so that ut is remains bounded by this, and after that finally I have shown with help of this result that ut is always less than vt. So that is the steps of the proof. Okay, anyone has confusion on this step? Okay, even if you don't understand the proof of theorem, but if you understood the result or basic motivation of theorem, you can able to apply this theorem. So let us see how to apply this theorem. So for time being, I have just taken the scalar case, but once I start when we start the Lyapunov stability, at that time we are going to take vector case also, and I have already given tutorial to all students. Please check that. Solution is also I have given. So what you have to do, you have to make one slide presentation, and after that you have to present the solution. In this way I am able to understand that you have understood the theorem or not, at least a statement of theorem you have understood or not. In that particular tutorial, it is possible to show that comparison system I can apply for vector system also. Okay, but for time being, I am going to take very, very simple system, x dot equal to fx, and here 1 plus x square into x, and here x belongs to R. You try to see here, if you are going to solve this equation, then you have to solve this particular differential means integral equation. Okay, suppose that if you are going to solve x dot equal to 1 plus xt, so at t equal to t0 you have xt0, and t you have xt, and it is possible to show that integral of this is not obvious. Okay, so now thing is that how to avoid this complicated integral. Is it any way to solve some simple equation and then I will get the bound of the solution? That is the motivation. Okay, so first you try to see that since you are not going to solve it, so you have to check that is some solution exist or not, or if that will exist, then that is unique or not. Okay, at least for some time interval 0 to t1. If that is true for 0 to t1, you know that I can extend t1 to infinity also. Okay, due to that reason there is no worry about the all time interval t to infinity, because in previous theorem whenever I I have talked about comparison lemma, that is true for any compact interval. Okay, so just you have to check everything from 0 to t1. Okay, now you can see here this is locally Lipschitz. How to check local Lipschitzness? Baby Dinah, are you here?
Yes, sir.
So how to check local Lipschitzness of this x dot equal to 1 plus x square into x? What do you think? This is local Lipschitz or not? Do you have any idea?
Sir, L should be lying between 0 to 1.
No. Again, you are confusing between contraction mapping and Lipschitz condition. Okay, I have clarified this question. Vinay already asked this question. Okay, please check the lecture. In lecture discussion portion that is available. Okay, so Iram, could you please comment? This is locally Lipschitz or not? 1 plus x square multiplied by x. Iram, are you here? Okay, Silpi.
Yes, sir. Sir, it is locally Lipschitz.
Locally Lipschitz because I have to see the right hand side, and since this is differentiable, so dou f by dou x is actually 1 plus x square. If x remains bounded, then I can define always Lipschitz constant L, and due to that reason that is locally Lipschitz. Anyone has confusion on this? Nidhi, do you have any confusion why this is locally Lipschitz? So just you can define this as a fx, and local Lipschitzness, so dou f by dou x, that is 1 plus x square, and 1 plus or with negative sign, that doesn't matter. See, if x remains in some ball minus a to a or like this, then you can see that I can always calculate some kind of L. L is somehow 1 plus a square. Maximum value of L is less than equal to 1 plus a square. So I can calculate the Lipschitz constant. So this function is locally Lipschitz. So without solving, I can tell that there exists some solution for this, because you are going to apply comparison principle. So in order to apply comparison principle, first you have to check that there exists some unique solution or not. After that, we are going to proceed towards the solution. Now what I am going to do, I have to avoid the solution. Due to that reason, I am going to define some other variable Vt, that is x square. Okay, so there is no guidelines how to define Vt, but just you have to make sure that Vt should be, what is property of Vt? Vt should be differentiable, or there exists some kind of upper right hand derivative of Vt. So if you calculate the derivative of Vt with respect to time, then I have 2x, because here I have to calculate d by dt of x square t. So first I have to calculate the d by dou x of x square, and then dx by dt. Okay, so dx by dt if you will do, then that is x dot, and after that dou by dou x square, that is 2 into x. Anyone has confusion on this? And after that, what I am going to do now, I am going to substitute the value of x dot. I know I have to solve this equation. So and x dot equal to minus 1 by x square multiplied by x. So I am going to substitute that here. Okay, so after substituting this, I have this kind of quantity. You can see here that I have 2x square minus 2x power 4, and negative sign is there. This is also positive, this is also positive. So that is always less than this quantity minus 2x square. And I have defined already x square equal to v. So due to that reason, now I have very simple inequality, v dot equal to less than equal to minus 2 vt. Okay, and I can change the initial condition also. Why? Because I know that xt0 equal to a. Initial condition of this differential equation that is given here. You can see here that differential equation initial condition is a, and I have converted this differential equation into some other coordinate frame, that is vt, where vt is x square. Due to that reason, v0 is now a square. Okay, now I have to solve this differential inequality, but I do not know, or I do not have any way to solve it. Due to that reason, what I have to do, I have to first convert this differential inequality into some kind of differential equation. Okay, so I have converted this into equivalent differential equation. So here I have differential inequality, here I have differential inequality di, and here I have differential equation. So you can see that everything remains the same, just I have replaced inequality by equality, and right hand side also vector field remains the same, and initial condition I have taken the same here, u0 equal to a square, or you can take initial condition of u0 that is less than equal to v0. So less than equal to, due to that reason I have taken here exactly the same a square. Okay, and you know how to solve it. U dot equal to minus 2u, then you know how to solve this equation, and I hope that whenever I have x dot equal to alpha x, I know that xt equal to xt0 e power alpha t minus t0. This kind of solution I have. So similar kind of things I have done. If that t0 is 0, then I have x0 and e power alpha t is there. So same kind of things I have done here. So you can see that there is no need to solve the complicated equation. I have just solved this equation, and after that now I know how xt and ut is related. Okay, or xt or vt is related, because what I have defined vt equal to x square. Okay, and after that, after substituting this, means x equal to a square root of vt, I can and what is relation between vt and ut? We know that vt, the solution of this, is always upper bounded by ut. Okay, due to that reason this xt is also upper bounded by a square root of ut or a square root of vt. So I have written like this. So you try to see that how basically what is our main motivation. Initially I have very complicated equation, and after that I have defined some variable, intermediate variable vt equal to x square. If you after learning Lyapunov theory, you are able to understand that why we have defined like this. There are also any distance function is applicable here. After that, what happens? I have differential inequality, but I do not know how to solve it. So I have converted into differential equation. And by solving differential equation, and if you are taking same initial condition, then what happens? I know the bond of the solution of the vt and ut, and with the help of that bond, I can able to apply the comparison principle. Anyone has confusion? Vinay?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand these steps?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or Iram? Baby Dana?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand the intermediate steps?
Yes, sir.
Because these kind of things, if you see the literature, lot of places, okay, in control theory, several places this kind of inequality is used. Okay. Now let us come to little more complicated problem, and again in the same way, using why I have selected this problem. Using this problem, you are able to understand that suppose that if vt, whatever function, intermediate function you have taken, that is not differentiable, then how to weigh out. Okay, so suppose here I have this kind of function. Again you can see that in this function it is possible to see so that right hand side is piecewise continuous in t, because I have one term in t, and after that locally Lipschitz in x. I have just added e power t here. Okay, and it is possible to show that in this time interval t1, again I have some kind of unique solution. Okay, so first I have to make sure that I have unique solution, then only I can apply the comparison lemma. So again, suppose in previous example I have used vx equal to x square, or sometime you can, people are also writing like this. Okay, so both things are exactly the same. And after that, if you take v dot, now you can see that again I have some kind of complicated equation, 2vt minus 2 root v. So basically whatever comparison system I have get, that I do not get any advantages here, because again I have 2vt and plus 2 square root of vt. Again this is nonlinear equation. Okay, in previous example what we found that after doing this kind of nonlinear coordinate transformation, I have linear equation. Okay, most of time people are trying to find some kind of linear equation, because solving linear equation is very easy. Due to that reason, this choice of the coordinate transformation or transformation is not accurate. So what I am going to do now, I am going to update my choice, and vt I am going to take like mod absolute value of xt. So I am going to define now some quantity like this. So here I have xt and here I have vt. Okay, clearly you can see that that is not differentiable here. xt equal to 0. Okay, so if I have to talk about derivative, then I have to exclude that point xt equal to 0. Due to that reason, I am telling that this derivative is only valid when xt not equal to 0. Okay, and if you take this derivative, you know that derivative of this, whenever I am calculating, then dou by dou x xt, and after that I have to do dx by dt. So dx by dt is x dot, and derivative of this except this point, so I have derivative of absolute value, that is nothing but some kind of signum function, and signum function is nothing but x by mod x t. So please just check it. So similar kind of things I have written in place of signum function x by mod x, and signum function means slope is 1 when you are in this side, slope is -1 when you are in this side, and x dot. And I am now going to substitute the x dot, and I know that what is x dot, so I have this kind of equation now. Now we know that 1 plus x square is always greater than 1 because this is always positive. So I am going to apply this kind of inequality. After that, you have to just play with inequality. Okay, and if you multiply x, then I have this kind of inequality. Now you can see that I land up to the very simple equation, and that is again some linear time varying equation. Okay, so LTV equation because e power minus t, so and linear because vt power 1 is here, so I have superposition principle or additivity, both will satisfy. So this is linear time varying, and you know how to solve linear time varying equation, because general solution you know that xt, after that I have to calculate phi t minus t0 xt0, and after that t0 to t, and here I have phi tau t, and after that b u tau into dt. So we know the closed form solution, and due to that reason this choice is perfectly fine for us. I will solve this, and after that I will find the bond of this. I will again convert into equivalent differential equation. But here one problem is still not completed, because I do not know what is behavior at xt equal to 0. So we have to understand that what is behavior of this xt equal to 0, that will satisfy same kind of differential inequality or not at xt 0. So I have to go via definition, because at this point whatever function I have selected, transformation I have selected, that is not differentiable. So but I know that what is right hand derivative of the vt. Here limit supremum is here, but I haven't added for time moment. We will add it later. You can see that vt plus h minus vt by h, and we know that I have to substitute this condition xt equal to 0. So vth I have defined like mod xt. So if you update t by th, then xt by h, and xt, since I have to worry about 0, so I do not know consider any other situation. I am going to consider just this situation xt equal to 0. Then at that time what is right hand derivative, or so that I am going to check. So I have this kind of expression, and after that now you can see that xt plus h is nothing but the solution, because I know that how basically I have some kind of equation. I have to solve this equation, so I have this kind of equation, and I know the solution of this equation is xt0, and after that I have t0 to t f tau into x tau into d tau. So same kind of things I am going to substitute here, because I have to check the behavior at t equal to 0. So same kind of substitution I have done, but time here is t to t plus h, because just I am going to worry about this time interval, and initial condition xt0 is 0, because I am at 0, and after that I am going to see the right hand side of derivative. So due to that reason this term comes into picture. Now what you can do, you can add some more term inside this integral, and what kind of term I am going to add here? I am going to add ft0. Okay, so derivative this is function at t0. So you can see that I can able to write this here minus ft plus xt, because this quantity is constant. If you see this integral from t to t, since dot t is here, so this quantity is perfectly constant for this particular integral. Due to that reason I can take it out. So even if I will take it out, then that doesn't matter for us. Just if I will take it out, then at that time I have ft xt, and after that d tau. So d tau is there, so t minus h by h, so I have h by h, and hh is going to become cancel, and I am just worrying about 0. So ft minus 0 and negative sign, because negative sign is here, so negative sign comes into picture. Due to that reason, this quantity and whatever this quantity, that is going to become cancelled out. I hope that you are able to understand this calculation. Why adding this extra term and adding term here, that is exactly fine if xt equal to 0. Anyone have confusion, please check this step. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to apply the inequality. So norm inequality, either you can take the absolute value of this or absolute value of individual, then also there is not a problem. Now you can see that here I have f tau, x tau, ft, xt is here. So by continuity, I can further able to write that since ft, xt is continuous, so for every epsilon there exists a delta. So that kind of things I know from the continuity. So I can tell that if t and tau, that is very, very close in delta ball, then this quantity is going to live inside the epsilon ball. That is a definition of continuity. So I have function f tau, x tau, ft, xt. So what I have to make sure that if t and tau, since f is already continuous, so if these two t and tau, that is very, very close, then their mapping remains the close. So for every epsilon there exists a delta, that is definition from the continuity. Now if I select h that is less than delta, then it is possible to show that since this quantity is nothing but epsilon, some kind of constant, so I can take epsilon out, and after that t minus h by h, that is h and by h. So this is always less than epsilon. Okay, and now if that, and just this condition comes from the continuity, because I have to make sure that tau and t, that is separated by the lambda. So from here, if h tending towards 0 plus, then that equal to 0. It means that vt means right hand derivative is now just equivalent to less than equal to ft0, and if you see this function, then this function I have defined like x by 1 plus x square plus e power t. So if you substitute x equal to 0, then this term doesn't come into picture, and after that I have this kind of term. And due to that reason, at x equal to 0 also, I can tell that if I will select this kind of differential inequality, so this is my differential equation, so differential inequality, and if vt equal to 0, then this term is disappear, so again same inequality will satisfy. So now comparison system is perfectly fine. This is valid for x equal to 0 and apart from x0 also. Now we have already seen this is LTV equation, so I have to just solve this LTV equation, and I am going to take the same initial condition, and after that using the comparison lemma I can able to solve this equation, and solution is like this. So you can see that as t tending towards infinity, solution is tending towards infinity, but I have unique solution. Okay, so what is main motive of today's lecture? If I have some kind of nonlinear equation, okay, so nonlinear equation either of first order or higher order. Okay, first what I will do, I will define some kind of distance like function or some function such that will convert it into one dimensional differential inequality. Okay, so proper transformation is required, and after that differential inequality we try to substitute those kind of transformation which will convert our system into simple form. So comparison system should be linear, or we have to select some kind of comparison system which is solvable. Okay, I know if I know this solution, even if there is no linear, that is also okay. Okay, but only one condition, that should be solvable. So by solving the comparison system, I can able to know the estimate of the solution of original system. You can see here I am just talking about estimate. I am not going to talk about exact solution, but most of time knowing exact solution is not required whenever we are dealing with the nonlinear control theory, because most of time we are just talking about the qualitative behavior, not the quantitative behavior. Okay, so with this remark I am going to end the today's lecture, that comparison things are very, very important, because if we understood the comparison principle, then if I have some kind of complicated equation, then I can convert that equation in easier form, and I know that how to solve that easier form. That is the main motivation. And all Lyapunov theory, it is possible to show that is based on this only. Due to that reason, you have to learn carefully the comparison lemma and how to generate comparison system, what is relation between differential inequality and differential equation in a scalar case, and after that, obviously, in order to talk about the coordinate transformation, I need some kind of experience, and that kind of experience you will gain when I will deal with the Lyapunov theory. Now session is open for the questions. So if you have any specific question, then please let me know. Anyone? Okay, if you don't have question, then I am going to